Why, hello there. Let's just get to the point right here. My fists against Elden Ring. That's what this challenge run is going to be all about. Just beating the absolute tar of anything that gets in my way. And also, I'm going to be eliminating any boss that drops a remembrance. And now that the main points of the run have been stated, the video quality of this run is going to be a tad bit different because I wasn't able to properly record this run and all I had to work with was the livestream VOD. So sorry if it's a bit more different than my other videos. Anyways, now to end the intro, this is Warnight Gamer 4 and make sure to sit back, relax and or listen as I beat Elden Ring with my fists. So let's get started by going into the land of Elden Ring. First things first, I gotta get my horse from Malenia, and with transportation obtained, I head over to the third church in America in order to take the teleport that's right behind here.
That's gonna take a minute.
So that it'll reposition me here at North Dragonbarrow. And while I'm here, I might as well go into Fort Faroff in order to get the right half of the Dectus medallion right now. And after that, I head into the isolated merchant shack, still here in Dragonbarrow. And the reason I'm here is because I need to buy the Cestus, which is what I'm going to be using right now at the start. Oh yeah, Fisto's ready. And since this version of the Cestus does bleed damage, there's no need to level it up, and that means I can get into Stormveil Castle pretty quickly. First of all, I get the Grace here and level up. I was thinking whether or not to summon help in this challenge run.
Summon or not to summon? That's the question.
I can summon, but they need to be using their fists. And that means Roger here is unsummonable in this challenge run. Not that I really needed the help, because all I'm fighting is Margit. And fortunately for me, Margit can bleed. No need for upgrades or anything, because bleed is still damn overpowered in this game.
There's one proc of bleed.
Also, stance breaks are very much welcomed. All I gotta make sure is to keep on hitting him in order to build up the blood loss. And in about 3 minutes and 50 seconds, Margit goes down. Poor guy. All he was the punching bag of this challenge run. Anyways, I get my second talisman pouch. Then I sneak my way into Stormveil Castle. Whiffed all my hits against the security bird.
That I can't hit.
Good thing he missed all his hits as well. Then I beat the absolute hell out of this knight that Gustok traps you with.
Really? Are they that strong?
Just giving him the old 1-2. Then at the next grace I level up. Quickly run through the castle courtyard in order to get this grace right here. Also, the Omen here gives a mean left hook.
Yeah, Bogart.
That man was obliterated. And after continuing to run deeper into Stormveil Castle, I went to go challenge the tree spirit under the castle in order to get a golden seed, but I got my ass whooped.
Ooh, bless. Nope. Gonzo.
Yeah, this fight did not go so well. So instead, it's time for me to fight Godrick. The same plan I had for fighting against Margit is the same plan I had for fighting against Godrick. My fists might be weak and unupgraded, but my tenacity of continuing to punch the boss ain't.
Come here.
And also the bleed damage I can cause is no joke. That is some beautiful chunky damage.
God, the bleed.
And also I'm doing charged heavy attacks in order to weaken his stance. And now here in phase 2 I continue giving Godrick a good old fisting. Please assume the position. Now the rest of the fight is just whittling down his health. And just making sure to dodge all of his attacks.
Okay, I'm looking.
And after about 3 minutes and 36 seconds, Godrick goes down. With Godrick defeated, it's time to obtain a new fist weapon. And since Raya is connected to the NPC that I have to eliminate to get the weapon, I might as well help her. And while trying to get the Grace nearby, I get taken to Slam Town by the land octopus.
Just outright butchered me. Okay. Night prawn man.
I'm sorry it's come to this prom, bro, but you have to die.
New D well. Ooh, but he hurts if he gets through.
But that's easier said than done because he packs quite a punch.
Or just instantly kill you if he doesn't jump in attack.
But eventually I took him down by letting him just walk to my attacks. And you know, having bleed helps.
There we go.
And with Bogard down, I get the Iron Ball. With my new fists obtained, I level up health, endurance, and strength. And because chat told me that was a very good weapon for charged R2s, that means it's time to pick up items that increase the damage of that charged attack, such as the Axe Talisman and the Spiked Crack Tier. And while I'm here near Fort Heights, I might as well drop by, making sure to evade any fire bombs that get thrown at me, in order to get the left half of the Dectus Medallion. Also, I fought the knight here for a bit of shits and giggles, and he dropped his shield.
Jump attack him. Ooh, he's...
Next up, I went to go get Cragblade in order to boost up the power of the Iron Ball. My lord, the charge R2s on these Iron Balls are absolutely fast.
R2 is very fast. Holy moly.
And after discovering why these things are overpowered as hell, it's now time to get some smithing stones to upgrade this thing. So it's off to the Rhea Lucaria Crystal Tunnel,
My balls on the crystal boss.
where there are some loose stones here and there that I can pick up. And the population that lives here want nothing else but my death.
Okay, everything just hurt me.
Maybe it's because I keep stealing their things. But they got their wish because the boss just helicoptered me to death. But it's nothing that 2 charge R2s can't fix. And that made the crystal boss an absolute pushover afterwards. And as my reward, I get the Smithing Stone Bell 1. And now it's time to head over to the Dectus Lift in order to reach out this plateau. And from there I head into the sealed tunnel in order to get the second Smithing Stone Bell that I need. Afterwards I go into the Lux Ruins in order to get a talisman here, but first I gotta fight the Demi-Human Queen, who I gave a good bit of slamming to. And with the boss defeated, I get the Ritual Sword Talisman, which increases my damage if my health is full. Up next, I went to go get the Golden Vow Ash of War. I fought the Tree Sentinel here at the beginning of the game in order to try to get it. And after hitting the horse with my balls a good amount of times, the normal Tree Sentinel goes down, and it turns out he doesn't drop the Ash of War, he drops a weapon that has the Ash of War already on it. And it's a unique version that I can't remove. And after receiving some help from chat, I was able to find the knight that drops it.
Not bad. Goodbye.
It took a bit to find, but here it is, the Ash of War Golden Vow.
Also, this is where you get...
And after equipping it on a dagger for later use, I level up my heavy iron balls to +9. And now it's time to continue with progression by heading over to the Academy of Rhea Lucaria, where the nerds here can't take my big iron balls. Just look at these chumps, just one hit and they're gone.
Alright, just obliteration.
Even the Red Wolf here can't take how strong my iron balls are.
Okay, that missed.
Now jokes aside, he went down in a measly 4 hits. Poor guy.
No, don't do that.
Also, Moongrim here suffered a pretty similar fate. And after leveling up my strength a tiny bit more, it is now time to fight against Rennala and her army of misfits. The first attempt went very well until I decided to heal at the wrong time. And that pretty much just led me to my death.
Oh no!
In the second attempt, I made sure to correct any mistakes I made, such as not buffing myself before the second phase. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what led me to my downfall, not my pure incompetency of failing to dodge an attack.
I didn't know it hurt.
The second attempt was going a lot better than the first one, especially in the second phase, but that was until I got a little too impatient, and I almost got turned into dog chow because of that. But after one last iron ball pounding, Rennala goes down in about 2 minutes and 4 seconds. And I ended up only suffering 1 death fighting against her.
A tad too careless there.
And after obtaining the second Great Rune, I get my third Talisman slot. Then level up my health and endurance, and because I'm planning to fight Radahn next, now I believe it's a good time to upgrade my iron balls even further. So it's time to visit the Celia Crystal Tunnels in order to start picking up some better smithing stones, while trying to dodge all the bug coom and the glintstone miners here that do not understand personal space.
Get out of the way.
And while I'm here, I went to fight the Falling Star Beast that's stationed at the end of the cave. The reason why I'm doing this is because he drops some good smithing stones early in the game. And what he drops is a whopping 5 number 7 smithing stones. He also drops a somber smithing stone bell 1, but that thing's pretty worthless because EG sells those stones infinitely. Now it's time to do a bit of Millicent's quest, which means I have to beat Commander O'Neill, and also his little ghost comrades that love to gangbang me.
Damn.
I got absolutely stun-locked to death. For O'Neill, I made sure to fight his little ghost friends first, because fighting the boss while they're active is very annoying. And afterwards, I give O'Neill the charged overhead special. And once I broke his stance, the fight was pretty much over. It was an absolute annihilation afterwards. And with the boss defeated, I get the unalloyed golden needle. But before I give it to Gowry, I go and get the Flame Grant Me Strength incantation in order to boost my physical damage up by a bit. Then hand over the needle to the creepy old bastard. Then I give it to Millicent. And after exhausting enough of her dialogue, I head back into the sealed tunnel in order to pick up more upgrade materials for my fists. It takes a bit of extra time to collect the stuff, but it's all worth it at the end. And while I'm here, I might as well fight the boss of this location, which is the Onyx Lord. And this guy really loves to spam his gravity magic. But once I learned how to get close to him, he was a pretty easy takedown.
Gotcha.
He might look like a very intimidating guy, but he has a very weak stance.
Oh, just have to remember how to fight him.
And all he's worth was just a few extra runes for my use. And use I did, because I used his runes to just upgrade my weapon. In this moment in time, it's now a plus 16. And with that, I believe it's a good time to head into Redmane Castle in order to fight Radahn here.
Oh, there's an Alexander.
And for this battle against the big guy, I gotta spawn in my own big guy. So it's time for Great Warrior Alexander to make his debut. Now he's the only one that can help me here because he could actually use his fists to fight. The fight at the start was pretty much going how you'd expect in a fist only run. I'm just getting hit here left and right.
I'm just getting unnecessarily hit. Alexander, help! We both hit each other.
But afterwards, Radahn decided to just take a little joyride with his horse. He didn't even try to attack us, he just kept on moving around.
Radahn, please. Stand still.
Eventually he stopped and actually tried to buff up his weapon, and I took full advantage of that, just laying on him. Look at all that damage done to him before the second phase.
I can't hit his horse either.
In this next part, he was a pretty easy takedown, but sacrifices had to be made.
Alexander, no!
Poor Alexander was taken out, but now the boss is one hit away. And after about 3 minutes and 14 seconds, Radahn goes down.
There we go.
With that, I gain his remembrance.
Alexander MVP.
Then I talk to Alexander to exhaust all his dialogue here so it can pop up somewhere else. And after leveling up my health, endurance, and strength, it's now time for me to sneak my way to the back of the Draconic Tree Sentinel.
Wow.
And this allows me to buff up right before I initiate the fight. And I wouldn't really call this a fight, I'd call it more of an absolute pounding with some iron balls. The absolute sheer amount of bullying I did to the poor boss.
Holy moly, there's damage.
The only thing that was remotely dangerous in this fight was the lightning that he summoned. But that means nothing because he was easily taken down by a pair of iron balls.
Goodbye.
Poor bastard here couldn't take the pounding. With that done, I now have access to the royal capital, which means it's time to parkour my way through the rooftops. Not gonna lie, my heart dropped a little bit there. Also, I got hit here by the archer for being a little too cocky. And after getting the grace here, I obtain a new weapon for my arsenal, which is the Star Fist, which is just a pair of spiky iron balls that can cause bleed damage. And now I believe it's a good time to start doing a bit of optional stuff, so off to the Carrion Manor I go, where I fight a bunch of ghosty boys, and afterwards the big bitch ghost, which was a pretty easy takedown because I was already kinda over leveled for this fight. But that doesn't stop the satisfaction of seeing the boss's health disappear. And with Loretta defeated, I hunt down a scarab that drops the Frozen Armament spell. And that's gonna be a good combo for the Starfists.
There we go, Frozen Armament.
With that over, I agree to help Ronnie with her quest. Then I buy the Astrologer's Staff in order to use the spell that I just got. And it's off to the Shaded Castle, where I pick up a quest item for Millicent.
Oh no!
And then get impaled shortly after.
Test invincibility frames. You did not save me.
And after that unfortunate outcome, I now make my way up the elevator here in order to fight the boss that lives at the top of the castle.
And I'm
Elmer of the Briar was a tad bit annoying because of his little ghosty sword tricks. But as long as I stayed near him, he would keep his spooky sword attacks to a minimum. But once I got the ball rolling with a stance break,
some balls all right through.
it was pretty much over for him.
Gone. There we go.
Hooray for a little extra rune gain.
Sweet runes.
Now it's time to give Millicent the prosthesis to continue her quest, as well as going to the Windmill Village in order to fight the Godskin Apostle that's stationed here. And with the amount of stance damage I do, he was a pretty easy takedown.
Or Autumn Ring.
And with that over, I'm done doing her quest for now, because now it's time for me to do Vare's quest, which requires me to invade a poor NPC over here.
NPC name? Old fashioned fisty. Okay. There we go. Goodbye, NPC name.
Then douse the napkin with a bit of maiden blood. Vike came here all pissed, but he was very easily taken down. And after doing all of that for Vare, I get rewarded by getting my nail ripped off, and also the teleport for Mogwin's Palace, which I used to get a grace for later in order to fight Mohg, and to do a bit of farming in order to level myself up to be actually able to use the Flame Grant Me Strength and the Frozen Armament spell, which required me to level up a minimum of 16 Intelligence and 15 Faith.
Oh, finally.
With that, it's time for me to head back into the capital in order to fight Goldshade Godfrey.
It's been so long since I heard your music.
Well, he did hit me multiple times. It was mostly due to my carelessness of trying to hit him with some charged heavy attacks. And could you blame me? All the buffs I have for those charge attacks really work out well. And after a bit more of exchanges, he goes down. I also get my 4th talisman slot here. Then I continue moving forward by punching a Black Knife Assassin in the face. And now right before the Royal Capital's main boss, I level up the Starfist. Because now it's time to give Morgott the old 1-2 with some spiky balls. First attempt was going very well until it didn't.
Oh no! Wrong timing!
And in the second attempt, I just outright failed to dodge everything.
Oh.
And now for the fight against Morgott, it's time to continuously spam heavy attacks. Because even though these aren't the iron balls, but just a spiky version, they still do a good amount of stance damage.
No, you don't.
And I gotta make sure to keep on attacking in order to build up status effects. With how low his health is right now, it's a very good start for the second phase.
Now this time it's going much better. I'm not going to challenge that.
And now here in the next phase, the plan doesn't really change and I just keep on the pressure. While also making sure to dodge those more dangerous attacks. And after risking it for a biscuit here, Morgott goes down after about a minute and 30 seconds. And unfortunately for me, I ended up dying against him 2 times.
Yeah, Frostbite was good.
With the capital pretty much conquered, I now level up my health and strength. Then make a long trek over to the Forbidden Lands. I absolutely hate all the running just to get here. It just takes a little too long for my liking. But now that I have this grace, it's time to collect a few things. So back to Mogwin's Palace I go. In order to fight this specific invader here for an armor drop. And that armor is the White Mask, which increases my damage for a few seconds if bleed occurs near me. And because I'm using the Star Fist, it's a good combo to pair with it. And now it's off to the sewers I go. AKA the subterranean shunning grounds. In order to challenge the catacombs here, because the reward of finishing this catacomb is a talisman that works very well with bleed weapons. And in order to get it, I have to fight the boss here at the end of the dungeon that has 2 annoying dogs with him.
Why?
But after they're both taken down, I get the Lord of Blood's Exaltation. It pretty much does the same effect as the White Mask, but this time in talisman form.
There's confirmation.
And while I'm down here, I might as well make my way to the end of the sewers. And with the imps that spawn here, it was not a pleasant journey. But eventually I made it all the way down in order to fight the false Mohg. Unfortunately for me, this Mohg is immune to all status effects.
I forgot he has some stamina.
But fortunately for me and him, it seems like he likes balls. So I might as well oblige and give him 2 big iron ones. Just look at him kneeling down for them. And eventually I was able to take him down after a little bit. And with his defeat, I gained access to the area where the Frenzied Flame is. Elevator going down.
Let's go on a ride.
And from here, I activate 2 hidden walls in order to gain access to the Deeproot Depths, where I just get the grace here for now, as it's now time for me to head into Necron. This is also the place where I fought my Mimic, in order to see who's better at handling the big iron balls. And of course I came out on top.
It doesn't matter now.
And after that I make my way into the Knight's Sacred Ground, in order to get the Fingerslayer Blade for Ronnie, which as a reward I get to carry an inverted statue. And now before I continue with more side quest stuff, I believe it's now time for me to get a new tier for my physic. And that means I have to take care of this putrid avatar here at Dragon Barrow. Aside from the annoying rot that deletes my health,
That just absolutely butchered my health.
fighting the putrid avatar was not that difficult, because even though he can't bleed, he can still get frosted. And my reward for his defeat is the Stone Barb Crack tier, which increases the amount of poise damage I do to enemies. With that obtained, it's now time to head over to Renna's Rise in order to use the teleport here to gain access to the river main, even though I already have access to it because of Deeproot. And after picking up the Ronnie doll, I bother it till it talks to me. And now it's time for me to beeline my way to Astel. But first I gotta deal with the Baneful Shadow here. And even though he got the opportunity to heal, the blood lost and the frost infliction made for a very easy takedown. And now that Not Blight is defeated, I now cover myself in rot in order to make my way through the Lake of Rot. I purposely gave myself this status effect like this, just so that the tick damage is much more manageable than compared to if I just run right through.
This is the worst area.
And after making my way across, I level up my strength and endurance, then head into the coffin,
Has been what? Like
in order to go and challenge Astel.
3 to 4 months since I fought Astel.
During the start of the fight, I was landing some pretty good hits at him. My only problem is that I couldn't frequently hit him to cause a stance break.
You mean coming to the door, right? It's not impossible.
Not only that, but I kept on getting hit and had a close call with death.
Oh. Luckily alive.
My bonks hit hard, but unfortunately he just won't fall over. Near the end of the fight, I was actually able to break his stance.
There we go. Bonk and rip bonk.
And even though I inflicted critical damage on him, he still survived that.
He's alive.
But after one last hit, Astel goes down in about 2 minutes and 40 seconds. With the giant nerd's rope dead, I now level up my strength up a bit, and head over to the Carrion study hall in order to flip the entire tower over, because that's what I need to do in order to get the next item I require. But first I gotta deal with the guardians of this place, which was a bunch of freaky hands and ghosts, and one annoying dude with a magical bow.
Again.
And after continuing forward and ignoring the Godskin noble, I make my way up a long elevator ride in order to get the Cursed Mark of Death. With this, I can fight the next boss I want to fight. But unfortunately first, there's a boss battle protecting that boss battle. So for now, I have to deal with Fia's champions.
I'm gonna do that after this. That hurts me bad. Oh, he actually followed up.
The first guy couldn't take any of the punches. Next up was Roger, who got absolutely obliterated by status effects.
Alright.
And after that is the gang squad, who after isolating them for a bit just get absolutely obliterated.
Oh, you already want a fist? That could have been real bad.
And now the last one to beat is Lionel, who unfortunately has a good amount of poise that could just tank my hits. My jump attacks cut through, but it's still pretty dangerous to attempt.
Don't do that.
But after a bit, when he had low enough health, I just started punching him.
There we go.
And now with the simps defeated, I myself have to become a simp because I unfortunately forgot to start her quest. And after she gives me the dagger, which I give to D,
Dagger. Here, have this dagger.
she murders the poor guy and teleports away. And after that, she pops up here where I give her the Cursed Mark of Death. And with that, I can now fight Lichdragon Fortissax.
Dragon.
With Fortissax being a dragon, he's an unfortunate combo of both lightning and fire.
Oh, lightning. Oh, my buff's gone.
Also, the lightning under his legs is a nuisance to deal with. It really slows down the fight. I'm doing good damage, but I do not like slow. Also, taking a fire breath to the face doesn't help very much. I tried to break his stance, but as you can see, it didn't work out very well.
How did that not hit? Lose your stance, dude. That didn't work out.
And after about 2 minutes and 27 seconds, he goes down.
Ow. There we go.
He was an annoyingly tough cookie, wasn't he? With Fortissax defeated, I get the Mending Rune of Death. And after that, I head over to the Ancestral Woods in order to start lighting up a few things here and there. And after touching the Horn Remains, it's time to fight the Regal Ancestor Spirit. And while I do a very good amount of damage against the boss, like seriously, only a few hits and he was near death. But unfortunately for me, he decided to stall my victory by healing. And boy did he love teleporting away and healing. And here, I'm not gonna lie, I should have tried to finish him, but I was a bit too scared of the damage he could have inflicted on me.
Oh well.
But in the third time I had enough and decided to just tank right through the healing. And with that, the Regal Ancestor Spirit goes down in about 2 minutes and 31 seconds. Great, after fighting all those bosses, it's time to head to the Grand Lift of Royd and finally go up to the mountaintop of the Giants. Now that I'm here, it's time to pick up the third Smithing Stone Bell. And with that, I can now further upgrade my weapons. I should have gotten this a bit sooner. Oh well, doesn't matter now. Now I level up my strength and endurance. Then talk to Millicent up here to continue her quest. Then take a small little detour to the village of the Albinaurics in order to get the right half of the Halleck Tree Medallion. And now to get the other half, I need to go into Castle Soul.
Damn it.
Which is a place filled with some mean sons of bitches. If those guys aren't gonna let me pop the grace, then I might as well go and activate the shortcut.
I don't care if I die here.
It seems like I'm no longer the bully, except the bullied. Fighting them when they group up is bad, but once you isolate them, they become a hell of a lot easier to take down. And with that problem sorted out, it's now time to fight Commander Nile.
Goodbye.
First I gotta take out his ghostly butt buddies. Good thing these fists are now doing a good amount of damage.
Pain. A lot of pain.
And now with his ghosty friends gone, it's time for Commander Nile to just feel some big iron balls.
Yeah, there we go.
Around midway to the fight, I swap out to the Starfist to try to inflict some bleed and frost damage. And after inflicting the status, I went back to the iron balls.
Oh, that's what I got for being too greedy. I'm gonna give him the old 1-2.
And after one last hit, Commander Nile goes down in about 2 minutes and 47 seconds. With the boss defeated, I get the last half of the secret medallion. Then I go and talk to Alexander to continue his quest line. And with his aid, it's now time to fight the fire giants.
The problem is that I can't ride my horse anymore.
The giant's brace was actually very easy to take out.
I'm over here. Well, actually doing a lot of damage.
He gave me a lot of ample opportunity to break it. And with how consistently I was able to hit him, I was able to pop out a bleed on him. Fire Giant might have a lot of extra health because of summoning some help,
I just rolled in place.
but that doesn't mean Alexander was dead weight because he was helping a lot.
Ooh, good shit, Alexander.
And after punching a Fire Giant's ankle enough till he breaks his leg, it is now on to phase 2, where you gotta remember that stuff from phase 1 is still active.
Using that. Oh, I forgot that there was still a bomb active.
The fight here got a whole lot slower, but with Alexander here, it wasn't that bad.
Well, Alexander does good damage.
He also gave me good opportunities to do damage, but due to carelessness, I wasted them.
Ooh, Alexander. Ah, fuck, too greedy.
But after one final hit from Alexander, the boss gets taken down in about 6 minutes.
Oh, Alexander finished it.
Man, he did some very good work in this fight.
This is the most Alexander's ever contributed to helping me.
But now it's time to continue to Faram Azula, where everything is starting to hit a whole lot harder, but I hit much harder. And now it's time to face the next boss, which is the Godskin duo,
Oh, okay.
which is a totally fair and balanced fight.
Ow. I love this game.
If they want to play like that, I'll play like that. So it's time to make some sleeping pots, but I need some cracked pots in order to do that. These jaws here were being a tad bit annoying and were not letting me leave.
There we go.
Now it's time to collect a few Trina's lilies,
All the lilies.
make the night bomb,
Who wants to go to Nappy Town?
then try to get a 2-for-1 combo with the Godskins.
Maybe both of you? Yes.
And after they're asleep, I buff myself up. And now it's pretty much game over for them.
Take it. Patty's next.
And after they respawn, I make them go me 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 again. And the fight is now pretty much over. Fighting the Godskin duo took about 2 minutes and 27 seconds. And with them eliminated, I get the 4th Smithing Stone Bell.
Welcome to the stream.
But before I do any upgrading, it's time to meet Alexander again. And unfortunately this time, it's a battle to the death. As always, you will always be missed, you beautiful bastard.
Yeah, that's...
The worst part is that I don't even need his shard.
Those are F's in the chat.
Anyways, it's now time to level up the weapons again, but due to the lack of funds, I was only able to level up one of them. So to rectify that the easiest way possible, I just went ahead and took down a walking mausoleum in order to clone Radahn's remembrance for the runes.
Upgrade now.
But before I even use the runes for upgrades, I decided to risk it all and go to the consecrated snowfield. The path ahead was absolutely dangerous.
Ooh, I forget to actually get grabbed on by them.
But some insane damage, and a blizzard ain't gonna stop me. Because once I reach the yellow annex tunnel, it's now time to pick up some high quality smithing stones.
Smithing stones. There's one.
Both Ancient Dragon Smithing Stone and Smithing Stones number 8. And while I was here, I just decided to fight Astel again. This version of Astel hits a whole lot harder compared to his underground version. But bonking him over the head made me do a good amount of damage.
Damn, good damage.
Also has an incredibly intimidating grab.
Oh, it's mega grab. Here.
And because of the amount of stance damage I do, the fight went by pretty quickly.
3 times. You're gone.
I can't use that spell, but I can use the runes though.
There's no grace here.
With that over, it's time to get a few more smithing stones. But first I gotta bait this unresponsive crab here to the statue in order to get some more smithing stone 8. And then get another ancient dragon smithing stone right next to the great worm.
Thank you.
Also wanted to see if the giant land octopus could fight the boss.
He doesn't need his arm, he's a goner.
But that didn't work out so well for it.
Damn.
So it's time for me to pick up its slack. At first this fight really wasn't going that well for me.
I'm still alive.
But after I got my first stance break against him, he had no hope.
A little too brutal.
I just kept on hitting him and hitting him.
Let's finish it here.
Seems like this failed dragon can't take the big iron balls. More runes for me.
The iron balls are OP.
With all that done and collected, I now upgrade all my main weapons to the max. 2 sets of balls, 1 spiky and 1 not, all the way up to plus 25. And with the leftover runes, I level up strength and endurance. Then I head over to Ordina's Everjail in order to light up the candles here to open the path to the Halleck tree. But again, that's easier said than done because the archer bitches were not having it this time.
Oof.
I swear I only survived here by sheer luck.
You still hit me from there?
My health bar is pretty much just non-existent.
Stop that.
These archers here are devil spawns. But once I got rid of all of them, the candles were very easy to light.
Get back.
And now the Halleck tree area is opened. But now getting down the tree is a bit problematic because of bubbles.
Damn bubbles. Here,
It just had to be bubbles of all things that can just pretty much insta-kill you. As always, this area of the game is very unforgiving, and you need a good amount of skill, luck, and timing to get through. And once I reached the elevator, I had quite a sign of relief. But unfortunately, that relief is temporary because it's now time to fight Loretta. While everything that she uses does more damage compared to her ghost form, she's actually still easily staggered.
No.
And using that to my advantage, I made sure to keep on using charged heavy attacks.
Why sprinting sometimes takes up stamina?
There was one close call because of badly timed dodge.
Oh, I mistimed that.
But when she tried to use her magical bow on me at a very close range, it was over. Poor Loretta here lasted about 1 minute and 19 seconds. With Loretta defeated, it's time to continue making my way down the Halleck tree, beating up the absolute tar out of anything that gets in my way. And after getting the Grace here, I had to teleport back a bit because I completely forgot to talk to Millicent. And after doing that, it's time for me to deal with the tree spirit here near the rot water. Instead of dealing with getting rotted, I decided to take the slow approach and just get him stuck here and fight him. Of course, it's still dangerous because he can send you flying off the map.
Oh yeah, that's the attack that can send me flying off.
But as long as you dodge his attacks well, you'll be fine.
Okay. Might as well just end it.
And after dealing with that guy, I get a nice little golden seed reward. And now it's time to help Millicent fight against her sisters. Which at times is just an RNG fest, unfortunately.
Okay, I just got obliterated.
If Millicent ain't slicing and dicing in the air, you might as well reset. Also, I got read like a book here. Eventually though, Millicent decided she had enough and actually started to do damage.
Good.
Also, I was a very good distraction, making sure Millicent will only fight in 1v1s. And after one good waterfowl dance, Millicent takes out the sisters.
Yeah, that's good shit.
And as a reward, I get the Rotted Wingsword insignia. This increases my damage up if I continuously keep on attacking. Now it's time to say an unfortunate goodbye to Millicent. And now moving forward, it's time to dodge all the flying white stuff in the bug room.
The Coom Fest.
And after reaching the Grace to rest up a bit, it is now time to fight Malenia. In the fight against Malenia, it was a mix of things that I wanted to do in order to beat her. I wanted to make use of Bleed and Frost as much as I could have, while also using heavy attacks to break her stance. I'm doing a good amount of damage, but I wish the status effect proc was a bit better timed. At least for when the Frost hit.
Well, that's the first time I did that.
When it came to Bleed, the proc was perfectly timed. Just stopped her from using a waterfowl dance there.
Oh, I think she was about to waterfowl.
After avoiding the possible wipes, it's now time to beat her up and reach phase 2.
Alright, still up.
For phase 2, the lucky status effect proc was not on my side. But I did barely survive a point blank waterfowl dance. Now the rest of the fight is just getting some very good hits against Malenia whenever she tries to slam dunk me. And after about 4 minutes and 11 seconds, Malenia goes down. The amount of damage being outputted by the Starfist was insane. It made this fight go pretty well. And I had one death.
Oh, that was delayed. And I'm dead.
And now with Malenia defeated, I level up strength and endurance. And now I progress a bit more into Faram Azula. You're lucky, dragon. I don't need the ancient dragon smithing stone you're holding anymore. And after getting the Grace beneath the Great Bridge, it was decided that it was time to fight Mohg. But before I do that, I need a crystal tier that's specifically used to counter his healing. And the only way to get it is by killing this invader right here. Ah yes, the purifying crystal tier. The 1-2 fuck you to Mohg. And after equipping it to my physic flask, it is now time to challenge Mohg, one of the keepers of the DLC.
I'm just gonna use the iron balls.
And you know what that means? Absolutely no mercy. Starfist would have been a bit better to use here, but sometimes all you need are some big iron balls. And as I've said before, I'm pretty sure Mohg loves balls.
No! My stamina. Okay.
And after about a minute and 20 seconds, Mohg goes down.
Like a
Easy peasy. Great, now it's off to the DLC.
The DLC.
That's a big just kidding, because at the time of this recording, I have no idea how to access it. We're probably going to have to touch Mikola's hand right here. With the runes I've gained, it's time to level up strength and endurance again. And now next on the hit list is a multi-headed dragon, which requires me to traverse time itself. And all that just to fight Dragonlord Placidusax. And by fight, I mean get burnt to a crisp multiple times.
Oh, not again.
So to start the fight, I buff myself up, attack with 2 charged heavies, and then avoid the lightning. And even though it's still the start of the fight, that was enough to break his stance. Next up, I get stuck on his wing. Super important.
Okay.
And after I bait a left claw attack, I jump over his tail.
Wanted to do.
And from here I can just continue charge heavy attacking. Remember everyone, if you're having trouble against him, his tail is the easiest thing to hit. And also being back here lets you avoid a lot of attacks. But unfortunately for me, the amount of damage I've caused was not enough to avoid his laser attack. Because of that, I got very intimate with the fire he spews while trying to avoid it all.
That worked out a bit better.
But after taking those lumps, it gave me the opportunity to just finish the boss off.
Alright, then this. Bonk.
The fight lasted about 3 minutes and 17 seconds, and I ended up dying against him 2 times.
Protecting death. You're about to meet it.
After that, it's now time for everyone's favorite game, bullying the Draconic Tree Sentinel.
Goodbye.
Peace was never an option. And now with the Draconic Tree Sentinel down, it's time to fight Maliketh. In the first phase, he was a bit difficult to hit because of how hunched over he was. And because of the short range of the fists, it made me whiff some of my attacks.
And I missed.
But it's nothing a few jumping attacks can't fix.
Yeah, it is pretty sad. Spray him.
And now it's on to phase 2 where he gets consumed by edginess. In this part I pretty much just chunked right through his health with the heavy attacks.
Just actually follow that up.
I didn't even need help from the status effects I have because of the amount of heavy damage I'm doing. Those charged heavy attacks are nothing to scoff at.
It's pretty much make it or break it here.
And after about 4 minutes and 13 seconds, Maliketh goes down. And luckily for me, I suffered no deaths. Now it's time to embrace the edginess of death. And because of that, I wake up in the final area of the game, the Ashen Capital. Populated by everyone's favorite spammer, Gideon.
One thing I hate the most.
It was kind of a slow fight unfortunately, and against Gideon, that is not a good thing.
I forgot he doesn't let you backstab him.
Because having to dodge all the spells he casts gets really old real fast. But luckily for me, he served himself on a silver platter right here, and the fight ended there.
Alright.
With Gideon defeated, it's time to do one last thing before the final bosses. And in order to do that, I need to reach Volcano Manor, which after finally giving Raya her necklace, which I completely forgot to do near the start of the run, I head over to Alta's Plateau in order for her to teleport me. And now without having to scale the mountain, I'm now here in Volcano Manor. And with the large amount of health I have, I can just easily traverse the lava. And now it's time to fight the Godskin Noble real quick again. Because he's in the way of who I actually want to fight. So I just put him to sleep and then obliterate him. I've dealt with 2 of you at the same time. Dealing with one isn't a problem. Great, now it's time to continue moving forward, avoiding bullshit as much as I can. And after swapping off some
I
talismans,
guess for now I'm just gonna have to increase favor.
It is now time to fight Rykard with just my fists. So for the first phase, the snake part of him gets into close range very frequently, and that gives me opportunity to either heavy attack him or jump attack him. It takes a bit to take him down here because of how chunky his health bar is.
A bit of a waste of stamina, but don't matter. Hurry.
Bleed damage also helped a tiny bit in this first phase. I could try to get close to his main body here in order to deal damage there instead of attacking the head, but because of how short range the fists are, and the fact that he has a pool of lava under him always doing damage, I decided not to even take the risk. And after a good bit of dodging, first phase is done.
What is it? Phase 2.
Now it's on to phase 2, where we refuse to become part of his family. In this phase, the relatively safest opportunity I found to attack him is whenever he starts to do his massive Rancor attack, because during that beginning part I can attack his right leg. But I have to be careful afterwards though, because the last thing I want is to waste health in this part.
I decided to go back. Okay.
And once all the skulls are done flying around, he charges up his sword slam attack, and while he does this I stay to his right in order to continue attacking his leg.
Oh, come back.
Great, now it's time to repeat this over and over again.
Ow.
On the fourth time around of this vicious cycle, I was able to break his stance, and that gave me the ample opportunity to just deal a massive amount of damage to him.
Damn it.
And now that he has less than half health, his snake part becomes active again. And that now gives me an extra opportunity to deal even more damage.
No.
I was able to break his stance a second time, but unfortunately for me, it was worthless. The giant Rancor attack was already active. And at this part of the fight, I had no healing flasks. And I thought I was completely out of options here. And it was very much looking to be a wipe.
Everything has to be perfect now. It's not going well.
But then I remembered about the two great jars that I killed that were annoying me. And in their death, they gave me life.
Aha!
And in this new life, a tad bit of recklessness because I went all in.
Good.
And finally, after about 14 minutes and 12 seconds, Rykard is defeated.
Die!
And it was all done in my first attempt. I'm not gonna lie, I got pretty lucky beating him. And now that all the big optional bosses are down, it's time for the final ones. And first up on the list, it's Godfrey.
First, Elden Lord.
The big guy with some big chunky attacks. He's actually pretty resistant to bleed loss, but good thing his frost resistance isn't that high. That was a very quick phase 1, and now it's on to phase 2. For phase 2, it was pretty much just a slugfest. Godfrey versus me, mono a mono.
This time again.
During the fight, he was able to grab onto me, which was not a fun trip.
No!
And after trying to go for one last grab, the boss pretty much just sealed his fate, because that gave me the opportunity to charge heavy attack him and finish him off. This fight lasted about 4 minutes and 31 seconds. Now before I head to the final boss, there is one last thing I need to do. So I head over to Fort Guile in order to pick up the Starscourge heirloom, which gives me a +5 to my strength.
Ball. This.
And now with all my equipment set and ready, it's time to fight the final boss. The bright light hurts, and now it's time to fight Radagon. Now would I call this a fight? No, because I'd call this more of a slaughter. Because as long as I kept on dodging, it just meant more time for me to keep on attacking him. And because those charged heavy attacks do a good amount of damage, poor Radagon had no hope. I even frosted him at the end. Poor guy.
Wow.
Let me do a little swap here from the Star Fist to the Iron Balls. Anyways, with phase 1 done, it's now on to phase 2 where we fight the Elden Beast. With Star Guest Radagon, who became a sword. It's time for the god of this realm to face some big iron balls. And because the beast is weak to physical damage, the fight is going to go pretty similar to Radahn. The charged heavy attacks is where it's all at right now. Just look at that insane damage. There's no strategy here, just bonking.
Alright, that's it.
And after about 3 minutes and 25 seconds, Radagon and the Elden Beast have been slain.
Righteous fists.
After that, we finished the game off with the Mending Rune of the Death Prince. And there you have it, I beat the game with my fists. Or more specifically the fist weapons, the Iron Ball and the Star Fist. Those armaments made this run go pretty smoothly. I have to thank the people in my chat for telling me to use those weapons. And also the location of where they were. Thank you chat, you helped me very well in this challenge run. Oh, and also sorry for the quality of this video. Due to the lack of resources on my computer for both streaming and recording at the same time, the quality of the video was much more lacking at times. This run was the first and second time live streaming and I think it went pretty well. I had a blast talking to you guys and I hope to continue doing that. And now one last thing because I want to keep this outro short. The chat on the top right of the video. I don't know if you guys like it or hate it. Hours before the DLC, I'm going to be helping people fight Radahn and Mohg. And also I'm going to be live streaming that, so if you want to drop by, that'll be swell. Also, if you're curious about when I live stream, there's a post in the community tab of the channel where you can see a schedule of when I go live. Anyways, this has been Warnight Gamer 4, and make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, and click the bell notification for alerts when I post a new video, and also to know whenever I start live streaming. And thank you for watching this video and my previous videos if you have as well. Ciao.